It's not good news. The Israeli military is currently striking the Gaza Strip. They say Hamas violated the ceasefire agreement. I spoke with one military official who said 2 separate attacks took place inside Israeli-controlled territory. One of them an RPG attack and the other a sniper attack conducted by Hamas.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and I'm sure you all remember last week the media told us that, oh my God, peace at last, finally, peace in the Middle East has been achieved, peace in Gaza, it's amazing, and a week later, the bombs are dropping again. Color me shocked, no way, nobody saw this coming. And it blew my mind when I watched this last week, all these social media influencers coming out and cheering this on like it was the second coming of the fall of the Berlin Wall, when if you actually read the peace plan to begin with, like I did, you already knew there was a 0% chance of this being a real ceasefire. And guys, here's the deal on my feelings about the whole thing. I'm not pro-Israel. I'm not pro-Palestine. I'm pro-America. I'm America first and America only. I have no dog in this fight. I have no bias in this. I just look at this objectively. So that's what we're going to talk about today in the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel. Let's jump into this thing. So what we're going to talk about, what is going on? Yes, Israel's dropping bombs. Hamas is shooting people. Shocker. Nobody saw this coming. Roughly what? Maybe a week later after the hostages have been released, which you love to see those hostages being released and getting back to their families. That is a great thing, but it also kind of just makes it easier for the war to continue. And that's what we're going to talk about. All right. So what's happening? Yes, Israel is saying Hamas is violating the ceasefire by killing Palestinians. And so Israel needs to bomb Palestinians to stop Hamas from killing Palestinians. Okay, and then you have Palestine, who's saying that Israel, of course, has broken the ceasefire. What's the reality? Both sides are breaking the ceasefire because there was no real ceasefire ever to begin with. So let's look at this.
It's not good news. The Israeli military is currently striking the Gaza Strip. They say Hamas violated the ceasefire agreement. I spoke with one military official who said 2 separate attacks took place inside Israeli-controlled territory. One of them an RPG attack and the other a sniper attack conducted by Hamas. Most of the strikes this morning have taken place in the southern Gazan city of Rafah, but there is at least one report of a strike in the northern part of the enclave. This was a difficult moment for Israeli forces, having to make a decision about whether or not to start striking Gaza again.
All right, so there you go. Of course, Fox News is going to tell you 100% of the time that Israel did nothing wrong and it was all Hamas's fault. It is what it is. But yes, they are now dropping bombs on Gaza yet again. And so some people will try to tell you, no, the ceasefire is still going. No, actually, the term ceasefire means you stop firing, you stop shooting at each other, and you stop dropping bombs on each other, which is not happening. Okay, so there is no ceasefire at this point, and there never was going to be. So let's take a look at this peace plan so we can understand it a little bit better. All right, and so people didn't understand that this is a peace plan, not a peace deal, and this was a ceasefire, not an end to the war. And Donald Trump said himself, I mean, right here, October 4th, I appreciate that Israel has temporarily stopped bombing in order to give hostages release and peace deal a chance. So I never understood what, cheering for the Nobel Peace Prize and all this stuff was to begin with. It made no sense, because if we look at the peace deal here, so let's look at the peace plan. This was written very specifically in a way with stipulations to make sure that it failed. All right, let's take a look. So phase 1, cessation of hostilities. All military operations were suspended and battle lines were frozen during the agreement. Within 72 hours, hostages released and aid delivery would begin flowing. Okay, those sound pretty good until we get to phase 2. Right here, Hamas demilitarization. Hamas is required to disarm and have no role in Gaza's future governance. This is a major sticking point, as the group has historically resisted disarming, and some officials have indicated Hamas will not fully comply. No shit. They're a terrorist organization. They are not going to disarm. They knew that from the very beginning. So why put that in the peace plan requirements? Because then you'll never achieve peace, and you can continue your campaign to remove all the Palestinians from Gaza, because that's the real goal, and we all know it. And the people are going to tell you it's all Hamas's fault, only Hamas is breaking the ceasefire. Okay, let's look at this. Remember, in phase 1, aid delivery, full humanitarian aid will begin flowing to Gaza with a minimum quantity consistent with the prior agreement, January 2025. Sounds awesome, except for Netanyahu freezes the entry of all humanitarian aid and closed the crossings into the Gaza Strip yesterday. Okay, fantastic. Supposedly, that aid is going to get turned back on today. We'll have to wait and see. We'll see how long that lasts until the next attack or whatever, and it all gets shut off and more bombing continues, right? All right, so what does the general public think? What's the odds this ceasefire lasts and peace gets brought to Gaza at last? Well, Polymarket says this. Nearly 50% chance on the betting odds that Israel ceasefire collapses by December 31st. Now, it obviously already has, but officially for it to collapse by, 2 months from now, 50-50 shot, flip of the coin if you want to get your bet in. Not a lot of confidence in people that this thing is real. And why would it be when you have Israel officials saying this?
אין שום דבר שעובדה מוגמרת, ולהפך. אנחנו כרגע יכולים, יש לנו כרגע את ההזדמנות, במיוחד היום הזה. לעצור הכל, להגיד רגע, החטופים ברוך השם החיים חזרו, זה היה עיקר הטענה למה אנחנו לא ממשיכים את המלחמה, ועכשיו צריך לחזור ללחימה, צריך לחזור למלחמה, צריך להוריד עליהם שהרגל.
So there you go. Now they can continue the war at full bore because they don't have to worry about the hostages anymore. Now they got the hostages back. Now they can really get down to business. It's actually smart, very convenient. But we also need to stop calling this a war. This is not a war, okay? A war is between two nation states, okay? Israel is not at war with Palestine. This is, at best, if you want to be charitable, counterterrorism operations, counterinsurgency operations, which we as Green Berets spent most of our time doing in the global war on terror. And I can tell you, when I look at this, this is not a war. I did counterterrorism operations against the Taliban, and it looked nothing like this. We were not allowed to just indiscriminately bomb everything, every building. See, when America does counterterrorism operations, it's very, very surgical. You use special operation forces. You oftentimes are dealing with a ton of civilians in the area. We would have tons and tons of civilians on every target I've pretty much ever been on, and you have to work around that. We don't get to just indiscriminately destroy anything because somebody shot at us from one of those buildings, all right? Especially if there's civilians inside or dealing with human shields, which is things we had to deal with. This is what this looks like. There's nothing there. It's all gone. This isn't counterterrorism. This isn't counterinsurgency. That's not how any of this looks. We all know what this is. You know what this actually looks like, guys? This looks more like this. This looks more like a nuclear bomb went off, which is kind of the opposite of a surgical operation, actually. Now, do you want to know how we know for pretty much 100% certainty that this war is not going to end? It's this right here. Yes, so Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has confirmed 2 days ago he will run for re-election in November of 2026, seeking to extend his hold on power despite corruption charges and mounting opposition. So for those of you who didn't know, yes, this is exactly how he's managed to maintain power over the years. Every single time he's about to be removed from power, I don't know, 2 Octobers ago, there just happens to be a massive war that he has to carry out in defense of the Israeli people, so he can't get put in prison. So convenient. So if you think he is going to allow this to end, you are lovably naive. So in conclusion and moving forward, what do I think is going to happen? Is peace going to finally break out in the Middle East once and for all? No. What's going to happen is Hamas is not going to demilitarize. They're not going to give up their weapons. They're going to continue to fight. Israel will continue to bomb Gaza. They will force everyone out. They'll then move in, take control of it, bring in all their settlers, and Israel will continue to bomb its neighbors and expand the Greater Israel Project, which will be funded by the United States of America for at least the next 3 years. So there you go. That's my opinions on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Man, I would love for peace to actually happen, but again, with Hamas there, with Israel there, yeah, it ain't gonna happen, guys. So we'll just have to wait and see. That's gonna do it for this one. Catch you on the next one.